This is the new sporty version of the Audi Q8, the Audi SQ8. We'll tell you all the details in exterior, interior and what we can expect from driving, because I can tell you I've already driven this engine, not in this car but in another one. Join us in Full HD, full screen and full length. Let's go. In the front, the Q8 in general features a very massive front grille, also with this accentuated area right there. In the S version, you have a contrast color and also vertical fins together with the SQ8 logo. You can also see the sensors are hidden right there, therefore you could still have 3D Audi rings. I think that's also a good solution. And also some contrasting colors in the lower bumper, overall a little bit stronger than the Q8 is already itself. You get LED headlamps as standard. Those ones here are the optional matrix headlamps. They also have this cascading turning indicator light right there. Optional, you can also get a laser light, but it's not really necessary, especially if you are in the US. It doesn't play any role because it's not allowed to have any more high beam range than the matrix LED already do. The length is about 5 meters or 197 inches, and that's a couple of inches and a couple of centimeters shorter than an Audi Q7. Of course, they share the same platform. Those ones here are the optional 22-inch wheels, the biggest you can get, also together with the carbon ceramic brakes. Pretty massive. Well, do you need them? Not really if you're not going on the racetrack, so the normal ones will also do just fine. Then the SQ8 also has some contrasting color right there in the lower area, so also a little bit sportier as for the side profile, contrasting mirror caps right there. And technology-wise, it always comes with the air suspension that goes, in a level a little bit different. 9 centimeters is a difference totally, 25 centimeters ground clearance in the highest position because it goes up 6 centimeters, but also can go down 3 centimeters. And then you can also get the rear axle steering, 5 degrees either in the parallel direction in the front wheels or in the opposite direction. Also the rear differential lock is available. That gives a little bit sportier touch, and since you have more power on the rear wheels, that can actually make sense. And together with the anti-tilt function, that will then round all technology features up. The anti-tilt control really reduces the rolling of the vehicle, and I have driven it in the SQ7 already a couple of years ago, and it worked actually pretty well. Although you have a heavy, massive SUV, it still stays quite upright. And the Q8, if you compare it to the Q7, of course, has a rather falling roof, but it's really different because the other manufacturers always use those SUV coupes, which have a rather round styling in the rear, and Audi kept it quite angular in this area. In the rear you can see this light strip going all over the vehicle. The SQ8 is not too different from a normal Q8 in the rear, just the badge and this lower contrasting area here, a little comp style. And those exhaust tips here, they are actually pure cosmetic. On one side there's the normal exhaust, on the inside if you take a closer look, well, of course if you take a wide look then it looks a little bit more massive. That's how manufacturers do it nowadays. Here also interesting, when you open and close the vehicle, you see the turning indicator and also the light strip when it's off or on. Always a spectacular feature, for example, just for showing off. So under the hood, normally for the Q8 you got a 3-liter TDI and a 3-liter TFSI. This one here now for the SQ8, at least for Europe, is the V8 TDI, 4-liter displacement, 435 horsepower, yes there are more numbers incoming, 900 Newton meters of torque and 4.8 seconds is the acceleration figure to 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour. And yeah, that's quite impressive. A lot of power, but you can also ask yourself, is it maybe a little bit over-engineered because we have 2 turbos here and a compressor? Yeah, well, the good thing about this, you don't have any turbo lag. So as I've driven this one in the SQ7 already, it's really, put a throttle and it's like driving a V8 petrol engine. Is really a lot of power and there's no turbo lag at all. I'm just asking myself, if you don't lease this car but really buy it, will those all work still after 10 years? I don't know. I can't say, can't comment on that yet. But I can tell you, when we drive the car, we'll have a lot of fun with it again. Consumption, let's also see about that. What do you think about this dual turbo plus compressor concept? This is the car key, for example, also with a remote opening for the trunk. S logo at the other side, and optional, you can also get a soft close for this vehicle. Here we go. Well, you don't need it, but it's another interesting feature. Then frameless doors, and inside of the doors here with the Alcantara insert and some carbon fiber style if you like that. Also has those, well, I mean, it's a little bit better than just piano lacquer. Other variations would be also aluminum style. Then this interior here, we know it a little bit already from an S line, but this one steps a little bit further. The steering wheel with the flat bottom and those seats with the integrated head restraint. You can either get for the SQ8 the normal sport seats with a separated head restraint, and those ones then would be optional with the integrated one. You can also get an Alcantara on the inside. This one here is the full animal skin package. Also with this quilting on the seats, it looks good, but I can tell you it's not that comfortable on the long-term run when you sit on all those stitches. Maybe you need stitches yourself after a while then. So let's get inside. It's a very easy entry with this low sill right there. I really like that with this special platform. And well, the sport seats are still quite comfortable, at least at the first sight. Again, when you sit a little bit longer on there, rather go for the base sport seats. The steering wheel can be controlled electronically right here in height and reach. I'm 1.86 m or 6'1". That still leaves some headroom right there. You can also go for a panoramic roof, which is also right here. And you see, even then, it's really okay. If you don't want this panoramic roof, it's also fine. Then you have a little bit more headroom. Same accounts also for the rear. But it's always a nice option to go for. Well, if you're not maybe living in a country where it's really, really hot, then it's always better to go with the all-closed roof. Then the seat control is all electric also here. Also with the back part, and you can get a massage function. Again, this boosts the price even more. You can easily get a double the base price from a normal Q8 already with the SQ8 with some options. But the massage function, that might be also worthwhile the extra money. The interior very clean, wrapped tightly on the top part. The air vents go all over the vehicle. This horizontal stress, a lot of piano lacquer use right here. Not such a fan of that, but the orientation here with the screens, there's no, jog or something. Everything is done via touch, but actually it's quite easy to do that. The first thing, I always deactivate the haptical feedback, that you don't have to press hard to the screen, that you can just use it as a touch screen like you used to. Wireless Apple CarPlay now available, or with the cable also then the Android Auto or telephone connection via Bluetooth. 10.1-inch screen on the top part, 8.6 on the lower one. So always this dual screen layout in the lower part with the temperature, for example. And you can also use the new voice control.
If you wish to use the online
we can activate it right now. Yes, yes, I accept. So you have to accept the license. So now we can use it. Temperature to 22 degrees, please.
I'll increase the temperature to 22 degrees.
So that's something you can do with that then, so you're not distracted with, because here in the lower part, using the touch screen while driving, especially in the lower part, that can be distracting. Therefore, the voice recognition feature is quite useful also for the GPS routes. The steering wheel, from this perspective, you can see it's quite compact for such a big vehicle with a good grip. It's also great from progressive functions. They reworked it a little bit more, that you have to steer a little bit less. It's really cool. Virtual cockpit, 12.3-inch, soon more details to that, and you also have a head-up display, which we can show you. Other than that, in the lower area, we have the automatic shifting lever with an electric handbrake, and we also have some adaptive cup holders, again, all very nicely done from this build quality, and I think you can pick up something from the LED ambient lighting also here and there, which is pretty cool at night. Let's take a detailed look here at the screen. For example, you can set the drive select. There's also a separate button in the lower end. It's hard to reach that while driving, I have to say. That's my experience from driving Q8 before as non-SQ8. Here, for example, now the air suspension is raising the car a little bit higher. And I really like the camera system. You realize that, for example, when one door is not opened or closed, you can directly see it. And you even have this 3D view, and you can browse around a little bit, like here, even zoom in and out a little bit. Pretty spectacular. This, however, again, an option, but there's also a normal rear view camera available. In the head-up display you can see the current speed, the allowed speed, and also some information either from the GPS or also from the assistance systems. Here, for example, for the lane keep assist and everything then in your line of sight, then sometimes you don't even watch the instruments anymore. It's always fun to play with those digital instruments. Right there you can change the view, but also the contents you want to see here. For example, also night vision. The armrest can slide up just a little bit, but also all the way up. It's also very stable attached. And then you also have 2 more USB supplies on the inside part, and also function here to inductively charge your smartphone. Where's my smartphone, by the way? I go search it, but I can surely also recharge it here wirelessly, although you know that inductive charging is not that efficient and the smartphone always gets quite hot then. So the panoramic roof, I can also open it, so it's both normal glass roof and also one that is retractable right there. It opens quite widely actually, and also in the width, so you can have some more summer feeling if you like it. Now let's get inside. Yeah, this one is a little bit shorter than the Q7, but still offers ample of legroom right here. So for tall adults, no problem. Even the middle seat could be used. There's of course an all-wheel drive middle tunnel right there, but yeah, I mean it does fit, but it's a little bit stiffer than on the outside. The outside seats are a little bit softer. You also have the armrest right here with some cup holders. But most important here with this vehicle is that you can really adjust the seats a little bit more. For example, the angle, you can sit more upright like this, or put a little bit more back. And also you can slide this bench, have a little bit more trunk. I mean, like this I could still sit, and then the trunk is still longer. Or most of the time, probably all the way back for the most space here in the rear compartment. And it's really sitting upright and comfortable. It's definitely more comfortable for the rear passengers if you compare it to those big sedans. So I would advise for the rear comfort rather to go for a Q8 or Q7 than for A6, A7, A8 or so. Because you just sit more upright, and that's more common as you would just sit at home or something. Optionally, you can get a 4-zone AC. It looks quite nice. Also has clicking sounds. Also for the rear seat heating. And in the lower part, you can recharge your devices. 2 normal USB devices. It's the 4th one, together with another 12-volt power supply. And even those have the metal knurling circle around here. So, quite nice build quality. And of course, you can secure them right there again. So, what about the rear hatch? Let's open it right here. And you have a quite high loading sill. Goes a step further in right then. Some more space below here. There can also be a replacement tire if you like one. The liter setup is about 600 liters in the base setup, and then up to 1,750 liters. And also interesting that this top cover here goes up when you open the hatch, goes down again when you close it. It's a practical solution. Well, and then you could also lower the car. Since you have the air suspension, you can lower a little bit here that you can easier load things in. Sadly, you cannot flip the seats from here. That's not that handy. Lengthwise, you got just about 1 meter, a little bit more than a meter in length, and also just about a meter in width. And then I have to go around to flip those seats. Always takes some time, but keeps me fit for the workout. And it, they are fixed like this, 2/3, 1/3 split is the base, but you can also just flip the middle seat. And then to the seat as I would be driving, that's almost 2 meters. Of course, a little bit longer if you go over the middle console. And here in height, you see it's not that much lower than in the Q7. It's a little bit shorter, but considering this is this SUV coupe style class, it is still quite reasonable for the things you can do here with the truck. And now to our conclusion for today with the Audi SQ8. We have been driving the normal Q8 and we have been driving the SQ7 already. And just the normal Q8 already had a quite good sporty driving feeling, and it was actually one of those SUVs that really combined comfort and sportiness. I mean, that's always easily said, but this car really did that. And considering, I mean, the look is pretty massive and you don't expect this driving feeling of the car, but this one really delivered so far. The exterior is also quite angular, unlike a lot of other competitors. Recently seen the Porsche Cayenne Coupe, for example, or also the BMW X6. They more go for a round central look, whereas the Audi Q8 rather takes this angular approach, and I think why not doing something else than the others do. Here, of course, with the SQ8, the main thing is the different engine, this V8 diesel here. Let's see how it will play out also for other countries, maybe also a petrol engine for the SQ8. We'll keep you updated with that. As for the interior, we have a great build quality. Again, you know, I would not go for those optional S Sport seats. They look great, but again, if you want more comfort, stick with the base ones. And you still have reasonable room in this one here, so it is still somewhat a practical car. Again, if you're not living in the most narrow city. Thank you so much for tuning in. I would like to hear your feedback on this one, here the SQ8, and please also tune into our driving review of the Q8. We will link that one in the video description and in the comments. Thank you so much, and see you next time.